and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have WARWICK Jungle. That's right, and you'll notice from the thumbnail, we didn't go with Divine Sunderer, I didn't go with Iceborne Gauntlet. No, we're going with some more spicy tech, and I think that's important because in my Zada GG Live Companion guides, I've updated all the WARWICK builds already. That's fully in depth. And we talk a lot about the Iceborne Gauntlet power, the sheen, the Kindle Gem, things that, go well with WARWICK and stickiness, and obviously the scaling of the itemization as it is. However, the champion still has a lot of diversity and preference in what you want to build. For example, we have a lethal tempo game here. Secondly, you might also not be so surprised, but also be surprised, we went from red solo into Krugs. What a time to be alive as a WARWICK player. Hey, I'm not constrained to 4-5 camp single target, non-Krug, non-Raptor gaming. I can do the Krugs. Yes, you can. And the AoE from the pet does help us activate our W passive. Obviously, that is super juicy. It will do this as well here, but it isn't so potent that I feel like you need to give up or should give up Tiamat. Now, if you're top lane WARWICK, obviously, Blade of the Ruin King into basically whatever the hell you feel like at this point in time. But in the jungle, I still feel like the amplification of clearing, the potent spike on the AD ratios that, Tiamat gives us, and of course the cleave passive, and the fact that you can build it into Ravenous Hydra Jack Show Tech, or simply into Tiamat, Titanic Hydra, Tiamat into Titanic Hydra, means you've got a lot of versatility from the itemization. Now, when you have a Jax versus a Vayne, and the Vayne gets super low, and you are doing a 3-camp as WARWICK, and I'm finding this happens quite a lot, actually. We know the Echo Soda bot side will be going up. Now we're kind of coin flipping and wasting time. The Echo says, maybe someone will arrive. He gets feared. We try and go over the... Oof. That was a little bit too overzealous. Worth, baby. Can we get one more auto attack? Ugh. Okay, so if you play the champion, let's just recap here a little bit. If you play the champion, are you surprised that this is what's happening? And if you are saying yes in the comments, then you don't really mean the champion, because no one should be surprised. This is absolutely typical and par for the course. When I do this red side clear, as I was saying, I find it happens quite frequently, whereby what will happen is you kind of think, okay, maybe I can do some more camps if nothing shows up, but there's always something that triggers a Bloodsend that you can kind of go for the dive on. And with Jax vs Vayne, when he gets that advantage, please try and snowball the Jax as much as possible. We know that the Echo started bot side and will be going to the top side, so we know he's going to be in the area. We were a little over committal with the flash there, knowing Echo still had it up, but we hoped we would be able to kill him. We weren't, and thus we chased down the Vayne and we get that kill back. Now, if we die first rotation, and we don't get that Tiamat, that does suck a little bit, but at the same time, if you're, and I have put this in the live companion guides, I don't personally enjoy Blade Rush from the jungle. I don't think you should. I think it's strong, no doubt, and it's all you really need, no doubt, but it also can be a little bit overrated, whereas the Tiamat does give you so much fallback and power in terms of farming quickly, and obviously just the general munchy, and if you get Tiamat into Sheen Spike for Frostfire, you're gonna have a lot of fun. However, as you will notice from the thumbnail, using our E there to make sure she goes the other direction, and a nice little chompy to make sure we finish that up. Repeat gank still. So you're playing the same way. The difference is, before we'd have to go red into blue side, and we go for this, but then we don't have the fallback position of our red, or we don't have the fallback position of our blue. We're always sort of compromising our clearing and our sequencing, and it makes things a little bit unfortunate. A little early on the E there, and obviously it's telegraphed so that they walk the other direction. We'll get the shield from the, that was nicely done to avoid the Q proc from the Echo. You want to go turning on all these fights. I mean, I don't know what she thinks she's going to be doing here. That was beautifully played by the WARWICK. Auto, bait it in. Use your Q to go through to avoid the Q. Use your Q to go through with the Zoe's flash. Keep fighting. We'll die here, but this is perfect. This is the kind of shit I want to see from you WARWICK mains. Do you see how he just knew how much damage to tank, how many orders to keep weaving in, when to time his Q perfectly with their anticipation spells? This is how we jungle with the Wick. Now, something keeps happening every time I want to kind of explain stuff, and that's good. I feel like if you're too slow with WARWICK, it's not that great. And we do have some more low targets here, and you'll notice the 420 Weed Wick reference. If you remember the patch 4.20, then you remember the... Yeah, everyone who lived in that time remembers. Very, very strong, in fact. Now, obviously, with low targets, we don't want to do the Krugs. We want to go straight up and get this kill. We're going to go for the Q through double fear, which is beautifully done. Fear to detach, Q the other one to fear them both in the direction you've chosen, and then go ahead and chase down. We'll hit that Q to reposition ourselves. Echo's going to E over the wall here. Our E is kind of wasted at this stage. We try to bait out the Echo here. We're going to keep fighting, but Zoe's going to show up, and we will die for it. So 6-3-0. You might say, well, aren't you feeding the enemy? Yes, but they are feeding us 2-for-1. And a 2-for-1 special, as we all know, is a good way to make a sale. unless it's cheap meat, in which case I get it, but, you know, I'm full, but I didn't enjoy the food. In this case, we did enjoy the food, so we are going for the Blade Rush. If you are going to turbo snowball, you have two options. You can go for your Tiamat for the first clearing, right, as per usual, and then you can say, look, hey, I can do Ravenous into a Jack Show, or I can do Ravenous into Blade into Jack Show if you wanted to go that route. You could also go Ravenous. No, that's pretty much what I'd go, actually, if I'm going Ravenous Rush. It's not that great in isolation, but in this kind of snowball, it's juicy. However, an even better ISO snowball item is, of course, the Blade of the Rune King, and you don't really need the Tiamat, but look at this. You see? This with the Tiamat and Ravenous is finished. So you're slowing down your treat gain, you're slowing down your CSPM, and as soon as the game calms down, as it will in this kind of elo, you're gonna lose that ability to kind of finish the camp, rotate, or do something, fall back to camps, quickly sequence, do a dragon. It adds up, right? That's why I prefer, because even though we're gonna chase down PvP gaming here, we're down 14 CS, when this quiet time happens, I want to be able to snap out my camps with gusto, effectively. And here we're going to go on for a little bit of a cheeky invade. Could we scan? Hello, Echo. I think I saw you, and I'm tracking you. Oh, sorry, excuse me, Echo. That's Pike, not Echo. But there is Echo as well. We're going to queue through with the Pike as well. We do have Orianna helping us here. We obviously used the ultimate there beforehand. Sorry, I'm training because I was going to speak about different things again, but you saw what happened. We see people, we rotate, we use our ultimate, we stick to the Pike. Echo does show up as anticipated for the second rotation of his buff, and Orianna shadows us, and we're able to get yet another kill. So 730 means we are dying while diving. We are over chasing under towers, but as long as we're getting those kills, and of course this is okay and this is okay if you can do this, what he did in the mid lane, all right? Now, what you're seeing here is one of the spikes and why we enjoy going into Blade of the Rune King. Can you do the same sort of shit with your Tiamat and your Sheen? Yes. Yes, you can. Sheen plus Tiamat are a classic itemization spike. I won't take any slander against this. Now, obviously, in this particular game, we're going to go for the Blade of the Rune King and the Heartsteel. Finally, I've said it. This game is going quickly. We roll fast when we play high elo Warwick and people keep fighting. I mean, look at this. You see this immediately? This is why we rake up the points in the W. People are like, should you go Q max? We're not top laners here. W, get around the map, get that attack speed, get the healing. Now we're going, well, that's a little bit sucky. I mean, you kill them. We're rotating all the way up here. I'll clear the ward. And then, of course, we can go and take a Herald and a topside Scuttle. So the Echo cannot match our rotational tempo with W mags and cannot fight us when we go Blade of the Rune King Rush. But you do slow down on your clearing speeds, okay? It's not tragically terrible like it used to be back in the day because of the pet, but at the same time, it is still something worth noting. Now, every 60 seconds, we get our treat, and we're going to snack this up for two more treats, and we will be at 20. This is spawning, so you could anticipate the Echo goes bottom side to try and capitalize on this pressure, help bottom lane, but bottom lane, actually, this is a very good trade if you anticipate the Echo showing up here potentially. Basically giving up the Herald, so you kind of try and make this trade to get out, but Zoe does show up as well. And now Echo, in that sense, could be taking these camps and going bot lane, which is what I would anticipate given that stuff was down when he respawned. And yes, he's not going to addict himself to the red buff. This isn't low elo. We go, must go to the red. No, you got high tier camps here. There you go. See? Blue side would look bot lane because the Warwick is top side, could use the Dragon Take afterwards. And do we have enough? We should be very close because Orianna basically is allowed to auto-attack more powerfully than basically an AD champion half the time. E usage, we actually don't... Oh, that was a nice little ultimate. And a little bubble from over the wall from Disneyland. Or Disney World, depending on where she's bubbling from. But again, look at this. The Herald shift here. Incredible. We always think back in season 12 and 11, we'd be busting open these towers and shoving in and moving around. And basically, we'd snowball the game. But, it really is an elongated and stretched out laning phase thanks to this change, and I'm okay with that because it allows the red team, and especially the Echo here, who didn't really do anything good, but he didn't really do anything bad that, you know, his laners deserve to lose their laning phase, and same for him. So it does work both ways. It gives you more time as a jungler when you have this kind of lead to keep on snowballing the advantage you have, and it stops your pieces on the chessboard going to the wrong place. Now we're just going to rotate over the wall here. We will have ultimate as well. We've gone for the ulti hunter, as you would have seen from the rune page. I still like that page, although sorcery is a better de facto page, although I love domination myself. We're going to use... Come on, walk. Oh, ooh, this is becoming... I thought for a second, could we keep it going? Warwick in a nutshell. turn, heal, sustain, turn, Q, bite, reposition. That was beautifully done. I mean, I'm enjoying watching him die more than I've enjoyed any jungler feed in a long time. And that's mostly because he's not really feeding. He's just doing Warwick things and getting as many kills as he can. We finally get this tower thanks to this rotational play here. Nicely done. And now, the Kindle Gem, we can go straight into the Heartsteel now. This is very important, so listen. Okay? Listen carefully. You do not get Heartsteel to stack it like you would in a top lane. You do not get Heartsteel to stack it like you would Grasp. You can take it in the jungle because you still want the passive and the scaling that you will get when you do fight a lot. And of course, Warwick will fight more than most champions, so you will get the stacking from the Heartsteel. But just getting that HP from the rest of your build and getting Titanic Hydra to go with your Blade of the Rune King Rush, that's the point of this. You get HP conversion from your Heartsteel into your Titanic Hydra, giving you more AD. You have the Blade of the Rune King Rush for your PvP, at least amping up your clear speed, and basically no one can fight you and duel you at all. But you also get the on-hit passive proc from the Heartsteel just by having the Titanic Hydra in pocket and all the other Spirit Visages and Dead Man's Chest that you're going to build as well. So the damage you're going to get from the Heartsteel, still huge. The HP from the Heartsteel still converts to your AD ratios, and you don't really give a shit about the stacking passive. And obviously the Mythic passive is nice as well. So, and synergizes nicely with Titanic. Look at this here. While I'm saying that, we're in a bit of a precarious situation. They trap in our jungle here. We think we can fight it. We can't fight it. Our bot lane is going to rotate up. Can Samira save the day? As always, ADC's in the wrong position. Well, that's the most... that's the most jungle thing we could ever anticipate. Hey guys, can we make this fight with our lead? Never mind, 4v2. Bot lane, where are you? Bot lane, we're coming, team. And then they die. And then, of course, we'll lose this El Dragon on the bottom side here, which is not so good. We kind of wanted that Hextech Dragon. So, little chat about atomization, potentially here on the reset out of base. Instead of going top side down, we look to prefer to control a bottom side quadrant and sync up for this dragon, preventing that setup. That would have been a good play, retroactively, obviously. But in theory, you should be thinking about this as well in real time. If you want to understand more about jungle pathing and decision making at the, well, it's basically the most detailed guide I've ever made. Main channel, 27 minutes. Everything you need to know about jungle decision-making and pathing, talking about this kind of stuff. Now, again here, most likely after the dragon, people are going to be resetting. So do you want to necessarily go for this high-risk play, sort of getting involved? We do have an ult right now. Can we use it before he gets to his W? Yes, we can, and we'll get the nice auto Q smash to finish it off. Bot lane is rotating up here. We're going to try to get hooked into this. I think I would have actually preferred to just kind of go down and try and outplay with W and sustain up, but this I'm not a fan of because I think everyone should, in theory, be resetting. So I'd kind of want to Raptors, Krugs, lane gank with the Jacks, or Krugs, Raptors, kind of shadow into the jungle once everyone's base, get some ward and put some control wards down, scan it up, and then dive here with the Jacks. I think that would have been an absolutely huge play to make in that particular moment, rather than just chasing kills. So the CSPM is low because we are kind of over chasing just a little bit, so do keep that in mind. But obviously with Blade Rush, you're not going to have that same fluency from converting your farming into CSPM. Now we're going to the bottom side again, and now this would be an actual bad play. Why? Because we have the RNG Crab on the top side, Scuttle, and Scuttle plus the Void Beast spawning, and plus we have these two camps respawning. Okay, so follow along here. We left base, we did these instead of this. We got trapped, we got killed. So we repositioned, came out of here, overchased, and died. These two camps have not been shifted or taken in a while, but these two we took before all of this fiesta starting, which means this respawn of these two camps is higher, okay? And the Scuttle Crab is still worth the same as a Krug camp at this point in the game. More, in some respects, as well as having the objective on the top side. So there's no real reason to go to these into this. I would much rather focus on boom, boom, boom. Okay, we don't need outside and roll because we're on the bottom side. And then get deep here, shadow this particular fight, and be active and be with our team here. So this mid-game pathing is insanely suboptimal. That's why, again, Master Tier game, not a challenger level game. And we're not really thinking about our sequencing in a healthy way. So we're not optimizing our maximum experience. We're not rotating in a position where we can fall back to objectives, take neutral objectives in terms of the crab. And we're not rotating in a way that allows us to be with our team. However, yes, we can sequence upside, but then of course the ADC is going to take our crab. And look at this. She's going to snack it away. Doink. 99 cash money gold in her bank. Why is it not in my bank? Especially seeing as you're going for a bit more of an expensive build with the blade, with the Heartsteel. We want to finish it as soon as possible so that we can stack whatever we can stack before we end the game. And then yes, if you're going to go this particular build, I would still go Tiamat into Blade. It does delay the Blade rush, but I feel like getting your evolutions of the pet up to maximum point and being able to stick to the Echo in terms of farming is kind of important. And obviously the AD is beautiful. It hits every auto, it hits every Q, hits your ultimate. Repositioning there is obviously very, very nice. And again, we're in a bit of a precarious situation. We have to ult to get out. Good. We do have ulti Hunter, so just over a minute for that, which is nice. But again, give this up, right? But all of this is avoided with better mid-game pathing. Now, whatever happens here, we can results-base it a little bit. We don't evolve. We're going to flash over the wall for that Q through Fear combo. We're able to kill the Jax, but we will die for it. The Jax is now cleaning up the back line. Again, you are squishier with this particular build. You do have lifesteal. You do have the Blade of the Rune King passive, but it's a little bit not as good as people always de facto think, you know what I mean? Aha! Well, that was terrible. I mean, she's obviously going to E, right? Oriana's on the bottom side here, no TP, so that whole fight, don't recommend. All of this is avoided by maximizing your experience, taking crab first, shadowing the fight, and maybe getting cleanups, and then easily being able to push this out, falling back to this, catching this wave, push it up yourself, take this as it just spawns, reset. Now you can shadow bot lane and be set up for this, and you can shadow this, obviously. Replay that if you need to, but that's what I would have most likely done in the moment. I always think like this. It's what I teach in coaching as well. I want people to think about, right, I died, or I'm going back to base. Where am I going and why? And, you know, when he went to the bottom side up, I was like, why? Your whole team is looking to push mid lane. There's a Herald, there's a Scuttle. These camps are lower experience than the top side camps. What could we do instead? So do think about that. See, here we go. We'll track this. We currently have 0 data, and of course all the match history links will be in the bottom. Lazy back by the Vayne, and you ulting. Ooh, you think it does something, but it doesn't. You just lose your ult, you lose your exhaust. The dude has ultimate, obviously he's got ulti Hunter. Top lane mains who play ADC and thinking. I mean, top lane mains and ADC mains don't think, and you combine them into one. I don't regret saying that, it's true. You guys are the worst Islander players in the entire game. You forget that the rest of the map exists. Why? Okay, we're being too selfless with our camps, we're not optimizing our securities, and you know, we have no future options when we do that kind of stuff. Dragon is spawning. Falling back to this one, we have 2 treats. One more. Say like, this is where that Tiamat and that faster farming is huge because the Echo is done. Now he's basing. He's not here. Why? What am I watching? Okay. So, if you have a more neutral game state, and again, this is not like, I mean, it's not even that, I mean, you're only up 1.5k, 1.4k gold. You know, if their whole team is set up here and you don't have 1200 smite, and he does, and you don't have the Scorch Claw pup fully evolved into your burning over time and, you know, stickiness and stuff like this, right? That's a big deal. That this guy has his upgrade and you don't. You can't neutrally fight that, and you can't even outsmite an Echo anyway, let alone when he has 300 more base damage on the smite. So that's why I like to talk about this. However, Blade Rush into Heartsteel, we're going to get our Titanic finished 3rd. I think I would invest here. I think you could futures market it with this kind of build, honestly. You Tiamat for futures market, get it sooner, you know, depending on what happens in the rotations early. And then you have enough to at least finish the Blade of the Rune King, finish the Heartsteel, and then finish off the Titanic. That is most likely what I would recommend you try now. It does delay stuff, but garden shop, backyard, garage, store shopping, you know, when you have all the components before you finish completed items, that does come with a little bit of sacrifice, but huge 2 to 3 item spikes, right? So once you finish 2 to 3 items, boom, and the futures market will enable a certain potency, again, word of the day, in being able to do that. Now, we do have Heartsteel, we do have the Blade of the Rune King, which means once you hit the ult, once you hit the Q3, once you hit your auto attacks, the Blade of the Rune King is proccing, and the dude's gonna be dying. Jax is showing up, rotating over here. We don't have ult anymore, but up in 40 seconds. We do have 178 damage dealt on that Heartsteel. We'll check this by the end, but the permanent HP gained is not really our concern here. It's getting that damage proc and obviously scaling it with our Titanic. That 3rd item spike is going to be juicy. I'm very excited to see that. And again, the Blade of the Rune King is a great rush if you are snowballing like he was early. And again, I don't care if you've died 3 or 4 times in silly ways chasing between towers. If you're getting 7, 8 kills at a 2-to-1 ratio, 3-to-1 ratio, that's fine. Like we're 11, 7, 14. Our KDA is 2 still, right? 14 over 7. So we're maintaining that. And I do think some of our deaths, 2 of our deaths specifically, this one and this one could have, and this one too, actually 3 of our deaths could have and should have been avoided. But We used it to reach our spike. We've rotated nicely to the mid game over here. We've navigated team fights in an admirable way. And of course, remember, I love Ultimate Hunter. I love Ultimate Hunter into stuns by other people. It's so nice and fun. Good job, Jax. Thumbs up. Right, damage here, 333, and that's only 2 charged attacks. So I like that they put that amount. I wish other items had as much detail in terms of that regard. But the damage at 2600 on the Blade of the Ruin King. That proc. And his magic damage too. I mean, Warwick does a lot of magic damage as it is, right? On hit. So you've got that on hit magic damage synergy. They're going to be building armor thinking, Titanic and HP to AD conversion ratios. I was like, well, yeah, I'm doing a lot of hybrid damage. It's very difficult to itemize against Warwick who does this. Now, we do have Baron here, and we are really strong in a 1v1 sense. Ione boots are so sneaky good, honestly. So sneaky good. Having the cooldown ratio here on this, on everything, basically. Try it. Do default to Merc Treads and Plated Steel Caps, and originally, when you're learning the champion, I 100%... Wait, I have put Hard Steel as a default, I think. This build is inside GG. I remember now. Just not with the Blade of the Ruin King and the Order, so I'll make like an advanced tanky build just to adjust it, I think. Yes, that's what we'll do. So now we can, of course, go for split pushing. Orianna should be going mid lane. We should have a 1-3-1 with Orianna mid lane. We're just going to ult and Q through again. They are not used to facing this champion, are they? They keep flashing and dashing when he has no Q. I think it's pretty obvious when he Qs initially, right? He uses his ult initially. It's not going to be up for those few seconds. We're going to E here under the tower, but again, we're going to get slow with the Echo and a little slow on the E there, a little late on the E, depending on your perspective. Here, we'll have the shield from the Orianna. I would prefer to have a 1-3-1 this direction. Jax has actually died in the meantime, and we have a lot of damage here on the Vayne. That's one chomp with an E to tank the tower. Avoid the Q from the Echo. Flee him in the other direction. Reposition, hopefully a shield here. Remember, you can Q and auto minions to heal up should they be around you. I love it. I love it. I mean, I played him in Master, 2019, Season 9, so long ago. It was a different game then entirely, but when you are such in the zone with the champion, the itemization, and the meta, and you can reposition and turn those fights, it is just one of the most satisfying things. And then people like to go and complain about the champion. Why are you complaining? He just outplayed you mechanically. He knows exactly what the champion can do. He's using his positioning in his body, and his flash, and his Q, and his auto tags, and his E and everything as an outplayability tool. So the champion, yeah, its skill floor is here, right? You know, Nidalee's... Warwick's skill floor is here. Nidalee's is higher for sure, but his skill ceiling, why it isn't as high as Nidalee's, is definitely the gap between his floor and his ceiling is higher than a lot of really complicated champions who are like really difficult to learn, and their mastery is so like peak, but it's so difficult to learn. You're starting here. Warwick's gap between his floor and his ceiling is really high range. And it's not always necessarily just the raw abilities. It's just the knowledge of the champion's output all the time, the sustain, the lower HP passive, the healing. This is all so important to use. And you saw it here, but you also saw it here early. The outplaying with the Q. And look, if this is happening in Master Tier, my friends, you can get to Diamond or Master Tier with this champion. Is it more difficult than playing Udyr and Hecarim? Yes, but you're going to have a lot more fun on the way. You're going to have a lot more dynamic jungling on the way. You're going to learn to play lower econ than they are. I mean, look, we have a lot of gold here, but the Echo's only down 400. If you were a Hecarim in this kind of game state, you right? But it's not as fun. And the Warwick is definitely going to provide you a lot more outlet. And obviously the split pushing here, right? 2 top, 1-3-1. As soon as that happens, now we need to move to join our team, okay? Off that ultimate. I mean, the Blade of the Ruin King with the ultimate and the full damage profile. I mean, look at this. It's 7 charged attacks now with 1227. You can't see it. Damage. And max health gained is 209, which is not, like, you can't stack it. I mean, that's fine. That's good. I'll take it. It applies to my Titanic Hydra passive here. You know, 57 physical damage on hit, plus 32 damage. I mean, all of that adds up to a 3-item spike that's really, really nutty. Now, can we go Sterak's and Death's Dance? Yes. Can we go Wit's End and add things like that? Yes. Ideally, though, I will tell you, you are not going to be able to be killed at this particular moment. I recommend against heavy magic comps to go for your Spirit Visage, and then obviously go for maybe a Dead Man's if you want to synergize more, or obviously the Blade of the Randuin's Omen or the Thormail. You can go Stoneplate as well for added survivability and resistances, because we have a lot of HP at this stage. All of these things, I love it. Ultimate Hunter, see how he's healing on the minions there, and in close fights that will make a big difference. So, we tried to go a little bit too far, I think. But again, good on the 1-3-1, right? 2 top, we're 1-3-1, 2 top, which means we can push this and this, but this is already down. So cut in here, join your 4, use that numbers advantage of 4v3, and try and end the game. Obviously, she died and they all rotated, so we lose a little bit. Let's jump ahead to respawns. Here we go. And we've gone for the Death Dance. So again, this is your bruisery, tanky sort of fighting Warwick, but if you're in a more close game, this is close, but it's not that close. The Spirit Visage will do you Gucci. They have 2 magic damage as well. If they're the 3rd one, you definitely would be rushing that Spirit Visage. But of course, in the fights here, he's killing. The downside of split pushing is that this happens. However, remember, you're a beast. You're a man beast. You're a thing. You're a chimera evolution. And which, nice stun by the Jacks. Keep auto-attacking. Keep auto-attacking all the time. All the time. Use your E to tank everything. That was not the best engage I've seen in my life, but the Jacks kind of followed up with us, and so it ended up being pretty damn good. The Orianna TP. How boring are these players, man? How boring is this champion? I mean, 2-4-8. This is like playing Heckroom in the jungle. Like, I would play in the 1987 Warwick every day of the week and never touch him. I mean, I don't touch meta junglers anyway. I'm weird, but yeah. There you go. This was a very fun, unique build. You can go Trinity Force, you can go Divine Sunder, you can go Frostfire Gauntlet, you can go the Ravenous Jack Show, you can go the Blade of the Rune King Jack Show. All of the, I mean, when I made the updates to Zada GG, it was just like build, so many. But this was a really fun one. I like it. Scorch Claw, obviously the de facto way to go in this particular regard. So hope you enjoyed and learned something. Coaching VODs and coaching signups linked below. Main channel linked below. That was meant to be a word. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next visiting.